Hey everyone, this is Raja from Charger Games and welcome back to this video. So in this video, we're gonna learn how to create a simplest Android game with Unity super duper fast, very easily. So I hope you're really excited. So let's get started. So here I have my Unity Hub opened. I'm gonna go to the Projects tab, click on New Project, and from here I'm gonna select the Unity 6, the latest version, and then I'm gonna select this 3D Mobile Core. But if you want, you can also use this 3D built-in render pipeline or 3D universal, whatever you like. I'm going to use 3D mobile, and then from the project name, let's give it a name like tap shooter, and then I'm going to disable it and simply click on create new project to start this new project. Alright, so here we have got a new empty Unity 3D project opened, and here I'm going to choose the 2x3 layout for this project like this, and then I'm going to go to this file, build settings or build profiles in the newer version, and from here I'm going to select Android, then click on switch platform to switch this to Android platform. Now if you are going to build this game for Windows or anything else, you need to skip this step and you can do all the things that you want without switching platform. So I'm going to go ahead and click on switch platform and it will switch to Android. Alright, so now as you can see, Android is the active platform. So Android is the active platform for our project. So what I'm going to do is from this game tab, from the pre aspect, I'm going to select this 16:9 portrait, which is suitable for the mobile games. Alright, so with that done, now let's go and create our new project elements. So here I'm going to go ahead and create a new empty 3D object, which will be cube, and make sure it is positioned at 0, 0, 0. And I'm going to name this one, let's say ground. And now I'm going to go ahead and change its X scale to, let's say 5. And the Z scale to 5 as well. So something like this should be good. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the Y rotation to 45. Something like this should be good. Now I'm going to select the main camera and drag the green handle up a little bit, something like this. Okay, so now this looks cool. Now I'm going to create another 3D object, and this will be a sphere. And this will be our player, or will be our ball. So let's go ahead and rename it to ball. Okay. And then I'm gonna move the ball a little bit upwards, somewhere like this. Okay, so now our ground and ball, both of them are ready. Now inside the assets folder, I'm gonna right click, create a new folder, and I'm gonna name this folder materials, inside which I'm gonna create new materials. So inside the materials, I'm gonna create a new material, and let's name this one mat 1. Now I'm going to duplicate this one by pressing Ctrl D to create another new material. So for the first material, let's select it and give it a red like color, something like this. And for the second one, select this and give it a green like color for now. Later on we can change it, or let's say give it a blue like color. Okay, so now I'm going to select the mat 1 and drag and drop it over my ball, and select the mat 2 and drag and drop it over this ground. Okay, so now this way our ground and ball, both of them are ready. Now I'm going to select the main camera, and from the camera settings, as you can see, the clear flags are set to skybox. I'm going to select that and set it to solid color. And for the background color, let's give it a bluish like color. And this is your own preference, so you can give it whatever color you prefer for your game. I think I'm going to keep it something like this for now. Okay, so with that done, now it's time to make our ball bounce. To do that, inside the assets, I'm going to right click, create, and I'm going to create a new physics material. Okay, and let's name this physics material bouncy. So this is our bouncy physics material. Now I'm going to select that and go to the bouncy material and set the dynamic friction to 0, static friction to 0, bounciness to 1, that is maximum, friction combined to minimum, and bounce combined to maximum. So we want our ball to constantly bounce again and again and again. So that is why we're doing all these settings. Now I'm going to select the ball. And as you can see here, we have a sphere collider attached. And inside that we have a material slot. So inside the material slot, I'm going to drag and drop the bouncy material. Okay. So now that we have got this bouncy material, now whenever our ball will collide with another collider, it will go ahead and bounce. But before it can bounce, what we need to do is we need to add a rigid body. Currently, if we go ahead and play the game, as you can see, nothing happens because our ball doesn't have any force. So now I'm going to select the ball, go to add component, go to physics, and now I'm going to add a rigid body component. So now the ball has a physics, now the ball has a gravity. So now whenever we click on play, 3, 2, 1, as you can see, our ball starts bouncing. Okay, so now because of the gravity, our ball starts bouncing. And if I go ahead and move the ball a little bit upwards, you will see the ball will bounce even more. So let's click on play. And as you can see, now the ball bounces even more. Okay, so now that our ball is bouncing, now what we need to do is we need to create a new script which will allow us to detect whenever we tap the ball, and it will destroy the ball and it will print "you win" on the screen. Okay, so for that, inside the assets folder, I'm going to right click and create a new folder, and let's name this one scripts, because inside this I'm going to put all my scripts. So inside the scripts folder, create a new scripting and create a new mono behavior script, and I'm going to name this one player. Now I'm going to select the ball and drag and drop the player script over it. Or you can also go to add component scripts, and from here select the player script, whatever you prefer. So now that we have the script attached, let's double click on the script to open it up on Visual Studio. So let's double click, and now as you can see, it's going to open up in Visual Studio. Alright, so here as you can see, our player script has finally opened in Visual Studio. So now here we need to detect when we are tapping on the player, and at that time we need to destroy the player. For that, here we need to write only one simple code. Here we need to write void on mouse down. So this void on mouse down function gets called automatically whenever we click our mouse over this object. So whenever we click our mouse or we tap our finger over this ball, this on mouse down function will get called. So here what we want to do, here we simply want to destroy our object. So for that we're going to write destroy game object. So this is how the object will get destroyed whenever we will tap on that object. So now let's go and save the script, go back to Unity, and now make sure you have attached the script to the ball, and now click on play, and you will see the ball bounces, and whenever I tap, as you can see, the ball gets destroyed. Okay, so now that the game is working, now we need to add a "you win" text over here. Alright, so now as you can see, inside the assets folder here, I have imported a simple "you win" text that I have created in Photoshop. So if you want, you can create it, or you can use the text element of Unity as well. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to select the "you win" text and make sure the texture type is set to Sprite 2D and UI, and then click on apply. So now here I'm going to go to UI and create a new raw image. So as you can see here, we have a raw image. I'm going to select that, go to the rect transform and reset its position. So now it's in the center. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the canvas and make sure its scale mode is scale with screen size, and the reference resolution is 1080 by 1920 and match value to 0.5. Alright, so now it's set up. Now our raw image is set up. I'm going to select the raw image and let's rename it to win text or win screen. Let's rename it to win text. And now I'm going to select the win text, go to the texture property and click on this small circle. And from here, I'm going to select this win text. Okay. Or I can go to the assets and drag and drop this "you win" text here as well. Both of them will work. So now as you can see here, we have our "you win" text. And now from the raw image, I'm going to click on set native size. So once we have clicked the set native size, now as you can see, it is in its original size. Now I can double click on this win text to adjust it a little bit. Then I'm going to click on 2D to go to the 2D mode. And then I can simply go ahead and make it bigger or smaller according to my own wish. I think something like this should be okay for our game. Okay. So now let's go back to the 3D mode. And now what we need to do is we need to disable this win text by default. And whenever we win the game, we need to display it. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna go to my ball and from here go to the player script. And here I'm gonna create a new public variable. So it will be public game object and it will be win text. Okay, so whenever we tap on our ball, before destroying the ball, we want to activate the win text. So for that, we're gonna write win text dot set active and we're gonna set it to true. Okay, so whenever we tap on our ball, we want to activate the win text, and after that we want to destroy the ball. So let's go and save this script, go back to Unity, and now if I select the ball, you will see here it is waiting for a win text. So here I'm going to drag and drop this win text image that we have created. So now I'm going to click on play, and as you can see, the ball bounces, and if I go ahead and click on it, "you win" text get displayed, and this is how our game is working. So now let's go and check how it's working on a mobile simulator. So I'm going to go to window, and from here I'm going to go to general, and device simulator. So here we have the device simulator opened. I'm going to set it to, let's say, Google Pixel 5. You can set it to iPhone as well if you are an Apple fanboy. So once we are here, simply click on play. And as you can see, this is how the game is working. The ball is bouncing, and once I click on this ball, you win text gets printed. So this is how it will work in a mobile device. If you want, you can test it once more. This is how the ball is working, bouncing, and if I go ahead and click on it, and as you can see, you win text gets printed. Okay, so our game is working and our game is ready. Now all we need to do is we need to build it for Android and install it in our mobile device. So before we can build for Android, we need to go to File, Build Settings, or Build for Files in the newer versions, and make sure we are in the Android platform. Now if you want to build the game for Windows platforms, it will work for there as well. Okay, so you can do that as well. Now we are in the Android platform. Make sure you are in the Android, and then from here you need to add your current open scene. So let's click on this open scene list and click on add open scene. So currently, as you can see, our current scene has been added to the build. Okay, so now as you can see, our current scene has been added to the build. Now from here we need to go to this player settings. So if you go to this player settings, you will see here we have a lot of things to fill up. First of all, for the company name, you can give your own company name and give a name to the game. And from the icon, you can select any other icon for your game that will be showing up in your mobile device. And from the resolution and presentation, make sure to turn off the auto rotation and change it to portrait. Okay, and then from the other settings, here you can give a proper package name to your game, com.chargergames.tapshoot. All right, so once that's done, now things are all right. So now with that done, our player settings is ready. So now let's click on close. And now as you can see here, I can go to add build profile to save our current build profile and use it later. Or I can simply go to this build and build our game. So let's click on this build. And now here I'm going to create a new folder called builds, where I'm going to save all my builds. So here with build, and inside the builds folder, I'm going to save this file as an APK. So let's name it to tapshoot, and then click on save. And as you can see, this is how okay, so it's asking me to save the scene. So save the scene, and there will be another thing. It is saying unsupported input handling, player settings, active input handling is set to both. Okay, so let me go ahead and show it to you one more time. So from here, if you go back to this player settings, you will see here we have something called active input handling. So let me go ahead and find that. So here as you can see, active input handling, and currently it is set to both, but we are using only the old input system in this case, so you can set it to the old input system. Or if you want, you can also set it to the new input system as well. And once it's done, it will ask to restart the Unity editor, or you can simply go ahead and set it to both and build the game, and it will work there as well. So you can do whatever you prefer. I'm going to set it to old, and then I'm going to click on restart, apply. Alright, so here as you can see, our editor has been restarted, and currently our active input handling is set to the old because we are using the old input system. Okay, so now our player settings is done. Let's go and close it. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on build finally. And after that, I'm going to go to the builds folder. Make sure the name is tapshoot. Alright, so let's go and click on save to finally build it as an APK. So click on save, and now you will see Unity will go ahead and build it as an APK, and it will take a lot of time. So let me go ahead and wait for that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed and learned how to build this Android game with me. We have learned how we can build a simple Android game super fast and build an APK and install it in your mobile device. So I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot of new things. So thank you so much for watching. This is Raja from Charger Games, and I'm going to see you in another video very soon.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss any update.